guys, Joe here from Third World Aquatics. This is video number 3 about the 720 gallon tank, but unfortunately this is not a good one. We have got problems with the tank. So you can see I've got a stanchion pipe, which is probably like a 12-inch pipe attached to the motor, and I'm just blasting the top of this tank. There's also a 300 watt heater, which used to be down inside the sump. I've now got that in the tank. Over here on the left side, you're going to see that I've actually got a power head that just blasts in the top of this tank to really create some high aeration. I'm doing all of this right now because unfortunately it looks like the tank is about ready to blow. So what I've done was I've lowered the elevation down 5 inches. So you got to remember, a tank that's this size, 8 long, 3 feet front to back, and 4 foot tall. Just by dropping this thing down by 1 inch, that's 15 gallons of water. You do the math on that, that's 124 pounds. So being down 5 inches, I'm already at 74 gallons, and that's 623 pounds. So before the night is out, hopefully we're going to drop this down about 9 inches. And once again, you do the math, that's 134 gallons. That's 1,122 pounds.
Come on, right or I go in the brig, that I know.
Just a minute. Here. We'll add this up. Put down 13 7 times.
Okay.
We'll add it up. That'll
That's
straighten
1,
us out.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, wait a minute.
Oh, I forgot dynamite.
Yes.
I don't want to forget dynamite.
No, there's 7 officers. Now we're getting it. Now, you claim all this added up amounts to what?
28.
Give me the chalk.
No, if you take it, the slab will come out right.
Sure, there's something wrong. Yes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
Oh.
That's crazy. So we're going to lower it down probably just to right above the bulkhead right here on the right hand side. This is probably the highest one, so I'm forced to go right here because I can't go any lower. So by doing this and drilling in the holes in the side of the center island overflow, obviously the elevation will come in at a different height. So if you look here at this acrylic, you can actually see the stress marks. This thing is trying to open up. Look at that fatiguing right there. And that's in all 4 corners. There's hairline cracks all over this thing. So by catching just the right angle here with the light and moving the camera around just a little bit, you can see right there, you can see that the stress is, it's crazy on this tank right now. So I took the gamble. The thickness is only 7/8 thick. I knew this from the beginning. Unfortunately, it looks like it's catching up to me. So this is no good. Actually, if I pan over here and look at the front panel, it seems like this was good all these months, but now within the last couple of weeks, the fatiguing on this front panel is just, it's getting crazy. So it's taken away from the view of the aquascaping. So this tank is no good. So as you remember, we've got 9 bass in the tank. Obviously the Irwini catfish, there's a 22 and a 24 inch inside there. And then obviously the big boy, the fire eel, which is well over 3 feet. So all the fish obviously are stressed out right now. The main filtration system is off. The closed loop system is on. But that's just moving the water. It's not really aerating the water. So that's why I've got that motor in there. So the game plan for tonight, and it's already like 10 o'clock at night, is I'm going to drop this water level down about maybe 4 or 5 more inches, and I'm going to get the drill, and I'm going to drill right into the side of the overflow. And by doing this, obviously the elevation will come in at a sooner time. There's the original fingers right there, and obviously I've got no choice. So by drilling into the side, I can lower down the 4 supply lines, and then obviously water will start to drop back in, and I can get the main filtration system back online. So positive thing is, hopefully the tank won't blow. Obviously, you know, the negative to this whole thing is this monster could obviously blow and land right on the floor, and I'd lose everything. So I took the gamble. I lost, but other than that, here we go. All right, guys. So I've measured down. Let me get down inside the tank here. From the top of the center island overflow, I've measured down to about as far as I can go, which is right above the bulkhead. Down about 9 inches. I drew a horizontal line, and I've put in a pilot hole right there across that line there. 3/16 drill bit. I'm going to walk this up bigger and bigger because I don't want to crack the overflow box. So this will be the new elevation where the water's coming in. So without further ado, we keep on going. So just to recap on what I built, obviously in video 1 and video 2 you guys had seen the slideshow, and sometimes it's a little difficult, I understand that, but going back to the top here, as you see I got the 4 green lines coming in. These are the supply lines. They work their way over. Obviously I've got 4 1-inch ball valves, schedule 80. These are by CPEX. They fall into the top of the sump. They break through on these 1-inch PVCs. I've actually drilled a hole in the top, so now instead of coming in one way, now it splits 4 ways and gets distributed over top the media pad a little more evenly. From there it goes through the rain plate, down through the bio balls, works its way over. Obviously I've got 2 bulkheads right here. The motor on the left is presently working. The motor on the right is the redundant. It's just a matter of plugging that in, turn that valve, shut down the motor on the left, and the motor on the right is on its way. So obviously the water's coming in. Obviously this is the supply line. It gets charged right here on the 2 Dolphin motors. These do 6,250 gallons per hour. From this point obviously it's charged. And as you can see, I've got not only the ball valves for supply and return, they've got the quick disconnect on them. So I can quickly remove the motors if I need to. Obviously it comes into the manifold, which charges everything. There's another union right there. And then from here, it splits 6 different ways. I'm using the ball valves on the far left. Those are 2 3/4-inch lines. They work their way to the very top of the tank.
through kind of a crazy path. These three, which is the normal schedule 40 valve, and I don't recommend these. These stick after a while. I got cheap in this area. I had extra valves sitting around and I used them. These stick as the months go by. So I don't really care for these. These work their way to the center island overflow and they come out, which you saw earlier, here, there, and right there on the left. The third valve is a gate valve, and that works its way over to the pair of socks. I believe I got 150 micron socks. The fourth line was a spare. I was going to probably use that for like a UV sterilizer. I just never finished it. The second system, which we talked about also in videos 1 and 2, is the closed loop. This guy does 4250 per hour, and it all starts within the wood here and over here. I can't hit the tank too much because you're getting reflection from the light, but obviously there's the one blue line, works its way over, there's the valve, and it takes a long path all the way around the back of the tank, down the side, works its way over here, and then the second one is right there. It comes down and has its valve, and the two come together right there, and they work their way into the closed loop motor. Same thing. Comes out a 1.5 CPEX. Well, actually, no, this is a Spears. This is a Spears gate valve. This one actually costs a little bit more, but with this, I can actually control the amount of flow to all 4 lines in the corner. It comes over, goes into this crazy looking manifold. I had no choice but to shape it this way, because here it splits in 4 different directions, and they're all heading to 4 different corners. Each one has its own individual valve, so if I want to shut one down, I can. And those are the orange lines. And then the other 2 are right here. One there, and one way back there. And remember, on the 5 lines, not to kind of go backwards a little bit, all of those have the check valves. And as you notice, there's also a valve just to the left, so I can actually turn that valve and get into the check valve if there's an issue. You do it backwards, well, you're in a heap of trouble. And then obviously the last line we talked about before is the purple line, and if I want to do water changes or for the drip system, once that water hits this bottom portion of the pipe, it starts working its way over. I even put in a sight gauge so I can see the water flowing through, and then from here it heads for the house drain. And as I talked about before, I put a trap right there because I didn't want methane gas working its way back. We got a little fancy. We put a whole bunch of LED lights on the top of the filtration so I could see everything. Works out perfect. And believe it or not, there's only one heater. I had purchased 3 500-watt titanium heaters thinking I was going to need that. In reality, I'm using one 300-watt heater right now. We're running 85 degrees. I think obviously I'm getting induced heat from the motors and obviously all the 90s. But there it is. That is the system that's been up and running for 14 months. And it turned out pretty daggone well. But now we got a problem. So I guess stay tuned to try to figure out what we're gonna do here. But positive thing is we do have something hiding.
Now get up one more round. Get up! Don't lay it down like this guy hard. Come on! Come on! He's no machine. I didn't hear no bell. Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves you.
1,000 gallon tank. Get ready for this build out, guys. This is going to be a good one. Till then, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and get ready for the next one.